Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod. What's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod. Welcome back to another episode. I believe this could possibly be my 50th episode shooting. It is also currently my 6-month anniversary of the podcast, but by the time you see this, I have no clue where we're going to be. But I just want to say I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let me introduce Reg Mason. What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing? I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to see you here because I know that you've been I know that you've known or know and are good friends with some of the people that have been on the podcast.
Yeah. I was waiting to come on, waiting for the right moment.
Well, I'm glad that we finally got that moment to happen. So, would you be able to tell the people what it is that you do?
Hi, my name is Reg Mason. I make musics. So much. It's sing, rap, produce, engineer, getting into directing stuff, pressing vinyls. Like, it's just, I'm across the board. I'm just overall creator. That's what I do.
All right, cool. So, I'm just going to start off with beginning at the very beginning. So, where is it that you're from?
I am from Union, New Jersey, born and raised.
Okay. I believe, so you went to school with a lot of people that I've interviewed.
Yes.
Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong. So, it would be Young Saba, Slippers No Socks, Groovy.
Yeah.
And I believe that's only a few to name them.
Yeah. Those are my brothers, like, straight up, like, down the street from one another, like, only, like, separating us by, like, a few blocks growing up.
Quick question. Did you all know that you guys were getting in creative fields when you guys were going to school together?
Yeah. For the most part. At least I met Groovy, I want to say, when I was 15.
Okay.
I want to say when I dropped my first song ever. It was like my sophomore year. And like he was into clothes and fashion and all that other stuff. He didn't really start crossing over into music until like probably like we were like on our way out of high school, like a little bit later. And then Slippers, he was always into photography as far back as I can remember, sophomore year. And then Young Saba, probably around the same time, like as we were like making our way out of high school. So it's like probably like from sophomore year to senior year, like everybody was kind of floating around doing their own thing. But we knew of each other. Got you.
Which is super cool because I feel like, especially speaking just for myself, in high school and things of that sort during that time, I really couldn't find people who were doing creative things the way that I wanted to do creative things. Yeah. So for you to have a group of people that were already beginning their creative careers, what does that feel like to have that kind of influence around you?
No pun intended. The community of it all, it's like it's a really integral part. Just like I feel like anybody who understands like how art moves and like how it grows, like a big part of that is like you got to have people to kind of pass that art along to. So it's just been really cool knowing that there's like a hub or like a nucleus. I don't want to get too fucking big worded about it, but it's just like there's like an epicenter just full of people who just like share like a similar passion for the arts and like different mediums, and just knowing that they're there and they're like still at it and they're all just really hungry about it. So it's just been really cool seeing that like work out for a lot of them.
Got you. All right. And when growing up and everything in Union, New Jersey, where is it that you found your passion? Or, yeah, let's start off there. Where is it that you found your passion for making music?
I was 4 years old at my dad's house. We lived in Orange for a little bit. Well, my mom always lived in Union, and my dad, when I was born, we started living in Orange.
Okay.
And I think he got me School of Rock on bootleg DVD.
Okay.
And basically from there, I was like, yeah, nah, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And I was like really, really sure about it because it was like, I don't know if it was like me being a kid or like the amount of like dopamine that like rushes through my body when I hear like really good music. It's like a borderline religious experience. So it's like I can't really find that anywhere else. And I knew it was coming from a positive place. Music is a universal language. It's like I could listen to a record that's it's being spoken in Swahili or whatever, and I'll know that that's a great song just because of how it makes me feel. So like, yeah, like I got my start. I knew I wanted to do music like extremely early and stuff, and that all came from School of Rock.
Got you. And to continue on, right? Like, I feel like there's some things like that you're gonna see in your life, or like that you've seen in your life, that you're like, I really like that, but you really never really pursued it. Where it was like you really pursued being an artist. It was like, I really want to do this. What is it about an artist that stood out to you that was like, I want to take this 100% of the way?
Really just the connection with people. Because it's like, for the most part, I felt like if I didn't make music, I would probably be like a hermit. Because it's like, I don't really be out the house. I don't be going to clubs. I don't be doing this, then the third. I don't really be in the mix too much. It's like the only time you really catch me outside is if I'm going to a show or like catching a flick. But it's like outside of that, I just be at home, like with my partner, just like hanging out. So I think the thing about being an artist for me, that's so like, I guess like just like draws me to it is really just the fact that it could create like a positive influence on people's lives. And, you know, if you do it enough times, you might get one, and now you can make that your career.
Got you. And I think that that's amazing that you like, and that's with a lot of people that I've interviewed, is just you took something that you love doing and you made it a career. And I think that like there's some aspects in life like yourself where it kind of took you out of that comfort zone, and it was like, I really want to, something that you never thought you would do, which is like maybe being on stage in front of, maybe hundreds of people. And it's just like, I'm cool with doing that. But like, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to throw on my regular outfit and then I'm going to go home and, probably just relax for a little bit.
Absolutely.
But what are those moments like where it's either performing or being at a place and it's just like those dopamines being released?
I don't know. As I said before, it's a religious experience, really. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like whenever I'm on stage, like, it's not even necessarily about me performing. It's just about, like, being in a space where, like, everybody is appreciating one thing at the same time, So it's like, like last week, I went to see this band called Angel Dust. They're a hardcore band from Baltimore and stuff. But their stuff is like really poppy too. It's like really melodic. And I went there, kids was beating the dog shit out of each other. But they were all like happy and smiling and stuff like that. Somebody jumped off the stage and snapped my glasses in half.
Jeez.
And all this other stuff. And like nobody cared. Like everybody was just like appreciating the fact that, like chances are like when that band comes back, not everybody's going to be in that exact same room, in that exact same number. For some people, that might be the last show that they ever go to, So it's like it forces you to be present and in the moment. So I think that's something that I really appreciate about both watching people perform and performing.
Yeah. And then like I would like to get your point of view on this. So, beating the dog shit out of each other, right?
Yeah.
Those are the mosh pits, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moshing, crowd killing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never, for myself, I never understood it. I never got like the idea of how like people can, like do stuff like that and then like not get aggressive or get upset with one another. So what is your like point on it? Like how can you defend it in any way?
Well, hardcore music in particular, I don't know if you know, I'm from like what got me into music and like going to shows a lot, like my brother used to play in hardcore bands. Like a lot. So like, I would go with him. I'd be like, we're like 7 years apart, so he'd be 18, I'd be 11. Like going to watch him play, and then I'd be watching all these big dudes. You'd be like, and stuff. But my defense of it is that hardcore music and stuff like under the punk umbrella in general, by design, is aggressive. It's like not every single subgenre is talking about the same thing sometimes, but it's just kind of just like a music made for like troubled people.
Okay.
And it's like they go to these shows to release whatever it is like that's like bothering them at home, or whatever it is that's weighing on their heart. They release it at these shows instead of like going to an establishment and doing something that they ain't got no business doing that can put them in jail or whatever. So I feel like it's a cathartic release.
Okay.
And everybody understands that that's what's happening too.
Yeah.
It'd be different if it was like
you just showed up and just like, oh, this is great. Boof, right in the face.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, that's the thing that's so cool about hardcore music. Like everybody's like, okay. And there's zones too. Like the pit is a circle in the center of like the audience usually. And like, as long as you stay like around it, like off to the side, chances are you're probably not gonna get hit and you could just enjoy the show. But if you're up front or if you in the center, prepare to get potentially knocked the fuck out. Honestly, that's just what comes with it. But I mean, like, you can still go to a hardcore show and have a good time, like be off to the side, or a punk show in general. But yeah, it's literally just like releasing aggression in a place where you're allowed to do that.
Okay. So like that was always something that confused me, because my cousin was, like I said off camera, that he was in a band, very hardcore, and I would watch like Instagram clips, and these people are like beating the shit out of each other, and it's like, yo, like, I don't know if I can go sit at a show and like someone punching me, and I'm not like, thank you, you know what I mean? Like I just, because then I was trying to compare it to like boxing, where it was just like these guys, they get paid to get hit, but these people aren't getting paid. They actually paid to be there. So it's just like a totally different thing. But I also like the way that you put it, where it's just like they're releasing. They have a place to release their anger, and everybody's there to release anger. So it's not anything that, I don't like you, so I'm going to hit you. It's just like, we're both going through a rough time right now. So
yeah. And not all pits are the same too.
Okay.
Like you can go to a rap show and they call them push pits, where it's like you're jumping around and you're moshing, but you're really just and it doesn't really go past that. But you could go to like a power violence show. Power violence is a subgenre under like the heavy music community, where it's like they play in these thing called blast beats, where it's like just really fast, just like shit like that, and like you could like spin kick somebody in the face.
Oh yeah.
Or you could like, you know what I mean? Or you could do like a butterfly kick, where you're just like just up in the air, like you got both your feet in the face. Like not all pits are created equal, so it's like, yeah, like it's different. Stage diving and all this other stuff. It's fun. I've done it before, but yeah, I don't know. It's cool, but just know what you're getting into when you go to a specific show. Not all shows are the same.
Yeah. Like if you're going to go to a Reg Mason, so don't hit nobody,
Exactly. Unless unless I'm like, hey, yo, hit that motherfucker right there.
Oh, man. But like, just to get back into your story, right? Like I find it interesting that, that you're an artist, but you also claim that you stay at home all day and just enjoy your peace, right?
Yeah.
Like, would you say that you've always been like that, even before music?
Yeah. I mean, I just like, I don't like being in the mix.
Okay.
Like that. I mean, I did have a few years, admittedly, where I was like, probably like age 18 to like 21, 22. I'm 24 now. Turned 24 like 4 or 5 days ago. At the time of this recording.
Well, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, Cancer season. We crabbing. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like from like age 18 to like probably like 22, Like I just wanted to just get out in the world just to see what was happening and kind of just like get all that out of my system because I didn't want to be like late 30s, early 40s and like thinking about like my youth and being like, oh, I wish I could have done and all this other stuff. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna just go out, see what the world has to offer, gain experiences, and then maybe I could take this and then like put them into the music and stuff. But basically after like age 22, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just like really chill out. I've been bugging for like 5 years straight. Let me just make some music, and just keep it about that. So that's what I'd be on now.
Do you feel like music? Well, you mentioned that. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. Damn. Well, to go back to the question I was gonna ask you, when it comes to music and the things that it brings you, like, what is one aspect that you really, really enjoy that was like, I really want to make this kind of music?
Well, I listen to basically everything. Like my playlist holds like no bounds and stuff. So it's like getting in the car with me. It's like we could start off listening to Thugger or whatever, and then the next song could be Bjork, which is like an Icelandic vocalist who's like her entire discography. She never makes the same album twice, so she is just like the queen of just weird pop music. She was like the shit in like the 90s and stuff. And then the next song that could play could be like just like a hardcore band or whatever. So, but it's just, I think the thing that I really appreciate about music in general, or like one particular aspect that I really enjoy about it is just the fact that really just like taking something that could be like terrible or like negative in your life and then turning it into something like fruitful. And like, oh, okay, like life might suck right now, but at least I got these 2 or 3 good songs out of it, and it's like it almost makes what you went through worth it in a way. Like you didn't, like that wasn't for naught.
Got you. And so the question I was at, well, what I was coming up with before was you mentioned being out of the mix. I personally feel like I'm the same way, where I enjoy staying out of the mix, or like I can't really get in the mix, if that makes sense, because it's certain things, like certain aspects. I can party, like I enjoy it, but there's times where like, and I want to say there's most of the times I'd rather just work or like just chill and lay back for a minute, because I feel like sometimes when you're moving so fast, you don't realize how fast time is moving as well. So I enjoy sitting back and just enjoying my peace and everything. So do you feel like, or why do you feel like taking time to yourself is super important?
That was kind of just how I was living before I even became an artist. Like, the amount of kids that were like around me, like in like elementary school, middle, high school, and I'd be like, oh, like I play music, I play guitar, I play drums. Like, you want to start a band? And then like nobody was on that because it was like, oh wait, everybody's like 8 years old. They don't even know what the hell I'm talking about, And so it's like I got very used to just learning how to enjoy my solitude without like requiring like other people's involvement. Gotcha. I don't need to. I don't really need to like have a drink or anything like that, or like socialize in order to have fun. And that's not to say that I don't know, like I'm a hermit per se, like, cause it's like I could go out and then still be me, and then we all have like a fantastic time. But like, I don't know, I feel like I'm very present in the moment when I'm just like doing stuff that I like to do,
Yeah. And when it comes to your music and the way that you I guess your genre, how would you describe your music?
Alternative, experimental, sometimes soulful, sometimes distorted. It's kind of like Bjork. Like I don't really make the same record twice, so it's like, or Gorillaz is like another great example. Like every time they put out a record, it's like, okay, this might be funk, this might be punk, this might be like hip. They're just a big hodgepodge of just genre. Like I'd probably say that my music is just at this point pretty genreless because like the more and more records that I make, the less and less the last thing that I made makes sense. So
Got you.
I can do it all.
So when is it? Well, how long have you been making music?
Oof. I wrote my first song when I was 10. I'm 24, so 14 years ago.
Okay.
And then I recorded my first song when I was 15. So 9 years ago. So I've been making music seriously for about like 9 years, I want to say. Yeah.
Got you.
Roughly. Yeah.
And what has that journey look like?
I don't know. I mean, kind of just like, I think the first 5 to 6 years was just constant like experimentation and stuff and like finding my sound. Because the first song that I ever put out was the song called Pearls that I don't even think you can find anywhere. I think it might have been scrubbed off the internet. I don't know. But it was a song called Pearls, and it was like sample rap, boom bappy, but it wasn't on some like Joey Badass type time where it's like, oh, I'm going to show you how many bars I can get off in this. I was just like, hey, yo, like, was trying to talk to somebody, didn't really go the way that 15, 16-year-old me would have liked for it to go. And I was like, oh, this sucks. I'm going to just write a song. And then I was just very honest about it. And then I kind of trailed off from that, doing some more aggressive stuff. Some of it aged well, a lot of it hasn't. And then I kind of like swirled back around to, oh, you know what? I really liked making like them soulful raps. But now I also have all this knowledge about like weird electronic music that I'm really into too, or like pop stuff, like punk stuff. So yeah, like every record that I'm making, like I kind of just like to just commit to that world. And then if I can't make anything better than that in that world, I usually move on to the next thing.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
And I think that it's kind of crazy, like, to just think about, like, you've been doing music for 9 years, right?
Yeah.
And to just think about it, like, what would you be doing if, you know, music never came into your life?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely. I might be like a music journalist. I might, because I love talking about music and movies, but I don't know. Like, if I have a very rough time imagining what I'd be doing if I wasn't actively making it.
Yeah.
Though.
And I think that, like, it also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I also feel like music in some way has saved you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
where, like, well, you said, oh, yeah, already. So
yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
So, and in what ways do you think that music has saved you? Yeah, like, in what ways?
It gave me a sense of confidence that I couldn't really find in, like, anything else, any other field. It's like I don't really, I never went to college. I was an all right student, but I didn't really care for, like, I don't have a problem with authority, but it's just more so just like, I don't know, people just following the status quo and just thinking like, oh, this is how it's been for the past millennium, so we have to carry on this tradition of going into debt while, you know, prices of housing are rising, and, you know, like everybody's getting a degree now, so the value of a degree today isn't nearly what it was 30, 40, 50 years ago, and like all this other stuff. So I don't know. I think music just gave me a sense of direction, and it just felt great. Like, it just felt correct for me to just operate in that field.
Got you. And I think that, like, damn, what the hell's going on? Like, I think that music connects in a lot of ways. Like, that's one thing I enjoy about music, is that you may not be able to understand or, like, completely get the picture of what an artist is talking about, but you can feel it sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can be like, I can't relate completely, but I love the way that you were able to depict the story through your voice. I think that's beautiful. And one, I've listened to your tracks, listen to your music. I do that with everybody that gets on here, and I want you to know that I love your sound. I think that the way that you go about and projecting your voice, and like you said, it's very alternative. Like, I really like that kind of like vibey kind of thing going on. So I really, really like that. And I hope that you continue going on your music career, because I think that you have an amazing talent. Thank you. Of course. course, Reg. Reg Mason. I can't, Reg.
No, Reg is fine.
Reg is fine. Okay.
Reg is fine. No, that's completely fine.
I don't want to disrespect Mama.
No, that's cool.
I didn't want to take it away from Mama. Okay. But what's it called? So just to continue on, talk about you. Like, what is one of your favorite moments in making music? Well, that's happened to you in these 9 years.
I did a Tiny Desk contest thing. Yeah. So how it happened was really insane because that video is kind of responsible for like a lot of cool things happening for me in my personal life. But basically, I met this guy, Shane Stanton. He's a mixing engineer and he owns the studio down in Boonton, New Jersey. It's called Glower Studios. It's amazing. It's Wonderland over there. But we met in January 2022. And we just had a great time. We a lot of our interests kind of like overlapped and stuff. And he basically just said, "Hey, like I'm building this studio. If you are like want to work here or do something or work on some material, like let me know." And the Tiny Desk, like NPR's Tiny Desk, they have a contest thing where like every single year they have independent artists or like underground artists or whatever make their own version of a Tiny Desk concert. And if people at NPR like it, then you get to do the real deal at NPR. So I just basically use that as an excuse to get a bunch of people who've never worked together in the same room.
Gotcha.
So Shane, shout out to him. He played drums, and then his roommate / our bandmate. Now Shane's also our bandmate. Alex Gold. He played bass. Then we got the homie Phil, who was on guitar. He has sort of like a jazzy, poppy background. He was in Brooklyn. The homie Kenny / he goes under Pay Show. He played sax. Shouts out to Nicole on background vocals. My mom was on background vocals too. Groovy was on background vocals. JTT, we also had him on background vocals. And the homie Curtis, who he goes by Kurt, who produced our newest record, he was on keys. So basically we just got like a bunch of people from random sides of the world like in the same room. And like that was like a huge like this was not supposed to happen almost. And like that was just one of the many examples of like, oh, like music brings people together. Cause like after that happened, like a lot of them started like working together and being like, oh, like, yeah, we're gonna do something. So a lot of cool stuff came out of that.
Gotcha. And just to talk about advice towards like a creative that wants to do, pursue their passion, what advice would you give? So an idea without execution remains an idea forever. So basically just saying that like you can have an idea as much as you want. You can have as many ideas as you want, but it's like if you don't think about the how to get there, then it's gonna forever stay in your notebook. You know, like the universe, I feel like responds to people who do. Yeah. Like truly do. Because it's like, it's almost as if they have this thing, like this sort of ideology or whatever it is you want to call it, where it's like, at least for me, something's almost not real unless you like write it down in a notebook. They say when like you write down something in a notebook, you like send off like a message into the universe. And because like now it's like you're taking whatever thoughts you have and like filtering it into the real world, you know? Because I'm sure like we have plenty of intrusive thoughts like all the time that don't reflect our actual character, you know? Yep. But like let's say if you were to write down like, hey yo, I want some Rick Owens boots or something like that. It's like that might be a thought that you have in your head, but it's like there's something about like actually writing it down. It's like, hey, yo, I want some Rick Owens boots. How much is this? Oh, $800. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. But then it's like, wait a minute, nah. If I work down, maybe I can get 200 every week. But it's like now it's like you're filtering out them thoughts. Exactly.
And now you got a plan outside of just being like, I want Rick Owens boots, and then it's just like flies past like like a car driving or something. So yeah, basically like all. That's my most long-winded way of saying, like, like don't have your idea stay an idea. Like just think about the execution and break it down into increments on how to get to where it is that you want to go. Small goals always match up to like big wins and stuff.
And that's very true. And I love that you said that, because there's tons of times where like there's ideas that pop in my head and then I never go and do it. You know what I mean? It happens to everybody. Like we go on and we think that like, we'll remember it, or like it's not that important, or like like I had this one intrusive thought. I'm not gonna lie, it was freaking hilarious. I'm sitting in the car and I go, I think that like I just made like a song in my head, and then my girlfriend was like, don't write that down. Don't write that down. You're not an artist. Chill out. And I was just like, let me tell you it. I ended up telling her, and she was like, yeah, don't write that down.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, like, I just find it funny how we like, especially I feel like everybody, but creatives express it more, and we're like more like, this happened, blah blah, and certain people are just like, I'm not gonna talk about it because that's embarrassing. But I feel like sometimes you just have to embrace what your brain thought as a creative thought and just be like, let me write it down.
Yeah, and not every single thought that you have is gonna be gold the first time. Sometimes you got to shine it a little bit and then construct it and then maybe after a while, like you put some pressure on it, put some heat on it, then it becomes gold, you know?
Exactly.
I feel like we get like really caught up, especially like, bro, in like the short form content world where like everybody's obsessed with like TikToks and reels and stuff. And no shade to TikTok at all. Like it's like that's a really cool, like an inventive way to like get a lot of people who by other means probably wouldn't be as successful like out into the world. It's just me personally. I think that I don't know, just like my ideas, like sometimes like it takes like longer. Like it's like I like making records, like full blown like LPs and albums. That's just kind of like what I came up on. So I like exercising my work ethic into like prepping up stuff and working on the presentation and stuff, as opposed to like some of that short form stuff that like you could drop it today and then people forget it tomorrow, you know?
And it's very true. And I think that like when it comes to TikTok, especially, I feel like I could be completely wrong, but I feel like the reach isn't as big as it used to be. Like I think that if you were to go back a few years,
I don't know.
No?
TikTok be blessing the homies, man.
Nah, well, listen, shout out to Groovy, because he's going
made it.
crazy on TikTok.
He
and
made
I
it
think
happen, man.
I think he kind of manifested it, because I remember speaking to him before, after the interview. He's like, this one's going to be it. And I was just like, I want to hear it. I ended up hearing it when he dropped. I was like, yeah, this is amazing. Yeah. And I feel like one thing that got him to where he is him using his own song as like background music instead of using a popular song and putting, you know, his lyric. Like I feel like he was very innovative with everything that he did.
He believed in it too. Like I remember I was even talking to him. I was like, we were talking about something, because I think we were doing a show, and he was just like, oh, yo, let me get on it. And I was like, yo, like you got to drop some music first if you want to do something. I was like, because like me and Groovy, like we kind of like, I don't know, like we came from like the same neighborhood and stuff, and like we were all like kind of like in a collective and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, bro, like whatever it is that you do, just like don't be afraid to like believe in it and just like go all in. Like me personally, like the type of music that I make, it's like kind of like a different world from that, but like Groovy has always been like really like popular, very charisma, like is out of this world, and he's just an overall like very likable person. So it only made sense that would explode, because there's so many other factors. Like he comes from a house like popish, clubbish background. He likes to sing. B-Jax is a fucking character. He's a cartoon character. So it's like anytime he raps, it's always insane. And like Chris, shout out to Chris from So Called. He's amazing with his visuals. Danny was insane with the engineering. So it's like just a lot of people that are really great at what they do coming together to make something even greater.
Exactly.
So it only made sense for it to do that.
Exactly.
Like I wasn't surprised at all when it was like every single time something cool would happen, I'd be like, yeah. Like, you know, some people would be like, oh my God, again. I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. I saw it. Like, it's just crazy to say. Like, I just feel like when I first heard the song, like, I genuinely put on my playlist. Like, and I just met him, and it was just like, because there's a lot of people where, like, you know, I meet and I listen to music, and then I'm just like, it's not my kind of music. But as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, this is added to the playlist. Got my girlfriend listening to it. Got my
it's a great song,
dude. My little sisters-in-law upstairs, and they were like, he made that song. And then, and I was like, yeah, I interviewed him, and then they were like, can you say hi? So like, it just
he went everywhere.
Exactly, and I'm just so one. Shout out to Groovy, and like you know, you did an amazing job, and you know, I can only imagine what success is coming for you. So just keep going. But back to Reggie. You know, no more Julian. Sorry, Groovy. Just to get back into it, right? Like, where did you? Well, one, we spoke about a little bit off camera, but where did Reg Mason come from?
Like the name, or
Yes.
Oh, it's just it's just a variation of like my actual name, because my full name is Reginald.
Okay.
And like my dad was like, he was always like, oh, you should have like a pseudonym, like you should have like a name that like isn't your name. And then I was like, or no, because I was just kind of just like, I don't know, because I like different forms of art. Like, I don't know if I want to eventually get into acting, modeling, and I didn't want to go through like sort of like the 50 Cent phase where it's like, oh, like, you know, when 50 Cent started getting into television and he started being like Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, like you can't go by Curtis Jackson. Who the hell's Curtis Jackson? Or whatever. So like I didn't really want to go through that. I didn't want to go through like I always make this joke, like, imagine like how 21 Savage feels when somebody walks up to him and it's like, oh, Mr. Savage, can I talk to you? I didn't want to go through that either. So I was just like, I'm gonna just Reg Mason. Like, that's mad straightforward, and like I could break into like different like mediums, like, and it won't be a weird transition. Exactly.
Like, it'll still be, you know, I'm Reg Mason. You know?
Exactly.
And I think if like that, your name is very like, well, your artist name is very like, how do I say, like, it flows. Like, it sounds like, you know, I'm Reg Mason. Like, it gives me it gives me kind of like the
weird. Yeah.
What's it? Like, I'm Tyler the Creator. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
something like that.
Like, it's just
smooth. Like, it just doesn't. It's not anything crazy, not over the top. It's just simple.
Yeah.
You know?
And I wanted a name that like was kind of like hard for like anybody else to kind of really take, because it's like even with, I don't know, like, can you imagine how many other Young Thugs there were before we got to this Young Thug? Yeah, like Young Thug had to fight for that.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was like, yeah, I can't imagine how many other like Reg Masons that there are, and if you do find them, they're probably like doctors in Barcelona or some shit like that. So I was like, I think we're good with this. I think this is uncharted territory.
Exactly.
I think I'll take this,
because for a while there, people were fighting over the Lil.
Yeah.
Everybody was getting Lil Uzi, the Lil Baby, and then I found that super funny that the Baby said he was a Lil Baby beforehand, and he was just like, I had to change it because there's already a Lil Baby, so I'm the Baby.
I'm
now.
like, bro, can you motherfuckers come up with something else? Like,
there's so many different things you could go by, but I guess Lil was just super trending for a long time.
Bro, the amount of littles I can name off the top of my head is atrocious, bro.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Lil Baby, Lil Pump, Lil Xan, Lil Skies, Lil Wayne, Lil whatever the hell,
Lil
Yachty, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil.
It's kind of crazy.
There's probably somebody named Lil Glock out there too. There's probably like 5 motherfuckers named Lil Glock. Like,
and there's no Reg Mason, and if they are, they're in Barcelona.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Doctor in Barcelona, fucking pediatrician in Barcelona.
But just to continue on, right? Like, outside of music, what is something that brings you happiness?
Having a really nice meal with my family.
Yeah.
Food brings people together, and I love to eat it.
Got it.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I guess, like, anything where it's like I'm experiencing it with somebody at the same time. Like, it could be food. going to see a nice flick. I don't know, sightseeing. I want to get into traveling more.
Okay.
And stuff. Like, I kind of had like a New Year's resolution thingamajiggy, and I was like, all right, so on my New Year's resolution, finish my album, get jacked, travel. That was basically.
No, that's a pretty good list right there.
Yeah.
We are getting close to the end. I'm going to be asking you my ending questions very soon, but there's one more piece of advice I would like to ask from you. When it comes to a kid growing up and I guess we could go right into more specific as an artist, right?
Okay.
As an artist, what do you feel like is one thing that an artist should implement in their lives to be successful as an artist?
Don't do it alone if you don't have to. Don't do it alone if you don't have to. And work ethic always beats talent. Straight up. Because you could be the most talented motherfucker in the room, but the minute that, like, they might drop one thing and then disappear for 5 years, but we can't all be Frank Ocean. It's like over somebody who, like, they might suck in the beginning of those 5 years, but then they're consistent with it. And then, like, 2.5 years in, they find their identity. And then they still have another 2.5 years of just fire left in them. And then, like, at the end of that, on the tail end of that, like, they're getting everything that they could have ever wanted. So, yeah, like, don't go at it alone if you don't have to. Work ethic beats talent.
All right, cool. So my ending questions, the first one I would like to start off with is what is it that motivates you to wake up every morning and work at your hardest at this music?
You want the real answer or you want the PR answer?
I want the real answer.
Okay. I think the thing that puts the battery in my back is kind of just like knowing that I probably, it's kind of do or die, man. It's just like I don't really look forward to doing anything else but this. So it feels like very much like this is what I was made to do, even though it sounds cliche as hell. But it's like, literally like 20 years in, like from like seeing School of Rock for the first time, it's like, oh, like if I don't do this, there's probably nothing else left for me to do. It's how it feels. I'm not saying that that's the truth, but
that's how it feels for me too. Like, I don't think I can, like, I'm already in here and I'm already doing it and I'm already, like, I'm in a spot where it's just like, if I stop right now, what would have been the point?
Yeah, exactly. It's like too legit to quit.
Exactly. And especially, I feel like when you have so much talent, like yourself, there's so much room for you to grow in this kind of industry. And even like this, like, it was a while back mentioned, but you don't have to be a Drake to be successful. You don't have to be Tyler the Creator to be successful. You don't. There's people who I might name someone who you might know who's doing just fine. Like, do you know Snot?
Yeah, I know Snot. Snot's
okay,
cool.
Well, there. No,
Snot's cool.
But there's not as many people that know Drake that know Snot.
Yeah.
And Snot is doing more than likely fine. You know what I mean?
You know about the 1,000 true fans mindset? You heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, that's the truth. After I learned about that, I was like, oh, well, that is true. As long as you got like 1,000 people that are like genuine supporters that'll buy like anything, like you chilling, you hanging out,
and that's all it takes. All it takes is some people to believe in you to just be like, all right, I can do this. That's it.
Calling me. Sorry,
you're good. You're good.
I'm not gonna lie though. Sometimes I do get like really jaded at times, and like when it comes to the music. But that's more so because like I know that like I'm not afraid to change or whatever. But it's like I genuinely like want to be here doing this, and sometimes like just gotta roll with the punches and stuff. That's how you kind of know that like you are really doing this though, because it's like you can't be like all excited all the time, you know.
And I think that's so interesting where like when you're doing something that you love, you're okay with, sometimes getting the short end of the stick or taking, there's times where you know that it's just like it's sometimes just not going to work. Like there's going to be things that you do in your music career that's all right, this didn't work, or I didn't reach the same amount of numbers, but that's okay. But you wake up every day and you're just like, I love doing this, so it's okay because I know that eventually it'll all come together.
I think my thing is like I like change the language around it Like, I'm not really afraid of failure. Failure doesn't really scare me these days anymore. But it's just more so when something doesn't go the way I initially thought it would, I don't see it as a failure. I see it as an experiment, you know? So it's like, if it doesn't go well, in a weird way, I kind of like trick my brain and being like, oh, well, I mean, it was an experiment. It was,
exactly.
you know, testing something out. But regardless, though, like, I don't, I'm just very, like, unapologetic about, like, the shit that I make being ill. It's kind of like what Tyler was talking about. He was like, yo, like, you post your shit once or twice and then be surprised when the shit don't blow up. Mm-hmm. That's why, going back to Groovy, he was consistent. He was like, yes, yo, like, this is going to work.
And,
you know?
To go, I don't want to talk about Groovy all day. We already have an episode with him. If you want to go, you can go check it out. But Groovy, what stands out and the reason he is where he is because when no one believed that song, or when no one believed in the song like he did, it was about him believing it himself. He didn't care about anybody else. He didn't think about it like that. He didn't think about, I need, you know, whoever's supporting it right now, you know, share it. He put it upon himself.
Bro, that shit comes from within here. Mm-hmm. Seriously.
Even when, because more than likely, when he was first starting to post that song, it wasn't getting any views. And then eventually, I can't stop posting this. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And boom.
It's kind of the TikTok way, too. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes TikTok is cool, man. I don't really be on it all that often because I just be like, social media just fries my brain.
I feel that.
But, yeah, nah. But I'm probably going to have to get on that for the record, though. For the new record.
I talk crap about it, but my whole thing is social media, so.
Oh, yeah.
But to ask you the last two questions, what is a message that you would give to your future self?
Don't have a baby yet. That's I mean, my message is not yet. You still have ways to go and stuff. I don't know. Responsibilities scare the shit out of me, to be honest. But I don't know. I guess what I would tell my future self, hope you're jacked. Hope you're jacked and
traveling.
Yeah, hope you're jacked. Hope you're traveling and yeah, like how many number ones we got, man.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Last but not least, what do you want the world to know about Reg Mason?
Reg Mason has an album coming out called Test Drive, coming August 2nd, and we are doing a listening party in Hoboken, July 29th, Saturday, July 29th. So this is me extending my invitation to you live right now.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, like we just got a lot of stuff coming out. We got a single called Handshakes. It's going to be the last single for the album, coming out Wednesday, July 26th. 3 days later, Saturday, we having a listening party for my album, which comes out the Wednesday after that, August 2nd. So yeah, okay. We got some stuff coming. Yeah.
All right. Well, I believe that was the one question I was asked you after this one, which was basically, the camera's now all yours. If there's anything that you want to say at all, then you can say it. You said it.
I said it.
You said it already.
But the curve.
Were you able to tell the world what you want them to know about you?
Yeah, basically, it's just like, I think the only other thing that I have to say is that, I'm in a band called Good Teal. It's a hardcore punk band, and we about to release some stuff too pretty soon. But I'm in album mode, so I think
he's in album mode. Reg Mason's in album mode.
Yeah, and one last thing, we have a show at the Mercury Lounge in New York, August 29th with the homies Space Race and AJ Radico, and we're gonna perform my new album Test Drive in full there. Nice. So pull on up, New Yorkers to Jersey, and then we're gonna eat some chopped cheeses and have fun, you know.
Fire. Okay. All right. Well, Reg, this is the end of the podcast. One, I want to say I appreciate you for coming here. Without people like you, I'd be able to do any of this. So I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. This is the Community Pod. Welcome. Well, no, not welcome back. I'm leaving now. But see you guys. I just want to say, for the people that are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a like, comment your favorite part of the episode. Mm-hmm. Put on post notifications so you never miss a future episode. Audio listeners, thank you for listening to audio. Audioly. Leave a review. It allows other people to find the podcast. It also is something nice for me to read because I like reading some of your comments. So please leave me a review. Other than that, For the people who have been watching all the podcast episodes, thank you for being here. I couldn't do this without you. And last but not least, for the people that are new here, welcome to the Community Pod. And we are out, Reg. We're out. Peace.
Peace, y'alls.